Hello, my name is Natalie Zacharias from Tending Your Spirit, and I wanted to make this video to talk to you about ancestral healing. Now, ancestral healing is something that when I was, after my undergrad degree, I was working in the corporate world, and I did not at the time have intentions of furthering my education or really just changing the life that I knew because I did the things that I was told to do all of my life, go to school, get a good education, get a job. Was doing all of it and was working in a job that, the people that I was working with were great. I was getting paid well. But there was just this unease, this like restlessness inside of me that just kept growing bigger and bigger as the years passed. And I just realized, as successful as I am according to, the bigger programming and the ways that people say like this is what you're supposed to do with life, it didn't feel like that fire within me didn't feel fed. Like there was still more to discover. So one of the things that kept coming to my awareness at the time was that I was doing a lot of healing work inside. Well, at the time I thought I was doing a lot of healing work within, but what I was noticing was these repetitive patterns that kept happening in my life, particularly in relationships. And I just noticed I remember having this feeling of like, oh, I'm the common denominator here. Like this pattern keeps occurring and I'm the common denominator. That tells me that something needs to change with me. And so that was one of the steps that I took into reclaiming my power and having self-responsibility for the ways that I was showing up in the world. And so when I took that lens and I kind of like zoomed out a little bit more, I realized like, oh, these are kind of patterns that show up in my family in different ways, in my extended family on both sides, and just seeing the ways that there's patterns. I could see patterns. And it really made me curious because then I was starting to think like, what are these things that we inherit? And at the time, that's when people were talking about epigenetics and all those things. And I was like, well, I wonder if there's like a wound or a trauma that occurred that is like these patterns are the coping mechanisms that were created as a result. So then when I finally decided like, okay, I'm going to go get my master's and then I was looking for programs that interwove, spirituality with psychology that landed me out in San Francisco. And when I got my degree out there, I started to see on levels that I just couldn't have imagined how deep ancestral healing went. I was merely just thinking of it like, oh, it must be psychological. And I didn't even see the energetic and spiritual components that play a role in this. And then I was introduced to plant medicine work. I was introduced to so many different wisdom keepers and indigenous elders and people who are connected to spirit in a way that I just didn't know before taking that leap. And that's what opened me up to like the wide world of ancestral healing that goes beyond just the looking at the psychological imprints and coping mechanisms and attachment styles and really just like the culture of one's family and the way that you relate to each other. I mean, it's just so much more. It's so much more deeper than that. And that's why, ancestral healing is one of the things that even still to this day I'm passionate about, because I realize that when we reclaim the gold that exists in every single one of our family lineages, the potential for healing on a collective level is just like endless. The potential is endless for what can occur. So that's why, in my work, whether it's through emotion code, whether it's through one-on-one work, group work, with the monthly group circles, the trainings that I hold, like co-facilitate, in-person retreats and stuff like that, ancestral healing in some way or form is going to be there because it's just at the core of who we are and why we're here. And it's also just at the roots of my work and why I love doing the things that I do. So I can talk so much about ancestral healing, but I'll leave this for now because I want to make this a short video. So if you want to connect with me, explore ancestral healing, if you're one of those people who are like, I just kind of feel like the black sheep of my family, I don't really understand why they're so different. Maybe you're like me and we're meant to be part of the change that occurs in your lineage. And if you want to explore that further, whether it's through seeing what comes up with clearing energetically in our emotion code, or exploring in one of the one-on-one sessions that I hold, get in touch. You can go to www.heal.me /tending your spirit, and you can book a free consultation call with me, and we can explore the ways to that I can hold space for your healing and supporting you and your ancestors. So thank you so much for tuning in, and look forward to the next.